Well, here at home, the city is approaching the time when it will bring photo radar in-house. At the end of July, the city will take over administrating the program from a third-party contractor.
While the city will administer it, the RCMP are responsible for the overall program and do identify where the zones are.
In 2016, more than $1.6 million in fines were collected through photo radar. After paying out to the province of Alberta and the contractor, Lloydminster saw only 10% of that go to revenue. Come August 1st, the city will dedicate 50% of revenue from photo radar to safety initiatives throughout the community.
We felt that bringing it in-house, focusing photo radar on more schools and that type of based enforcement would create a stronger and a more safe culture in the community.
Cameras will be deployed near school and playground zones, high traffic and high accident areas, as well as multi-lane roads.
Hope is that the program is non-viable. I mean, that means that everybody in the community is slowed down and photo radar is not required.
Photo radar zones will continue to be advertised as per provincial regulations. Well, a local secondhand shop was recently in a heated race against others across Alberta for bragging rights to be known as the top thrift store in the province. Crossway's Thrift Store in Canmore started the challenge to engage in a friendly rivalry with other secondhand stores, and the Interval store came out on top.
We actually had to solicit votes from people. So we were actually voted Alberta's best thrift store. So the staff here at the store did different incentives. So they had in-store incentives, they did social media posts and activities, they did videos.
The Interval store's biggest competitor during the race was a shop from Drayton Valley, but they managed to pull ahead with a total of 1,500 votes.
For a while there, it was nip and tuck, where we were in second place up until about the last week, and we went to our community of supporters and said, help, please vote for us, and they did, so we came out on top.
The store is happy to add this title to its name and expecting a trophy to arrive in the mail soon for display. For many, popcorn is a staple snack when enjoying a flick, either at home or at the theater. But if people only knew how many calories and carbs are in one bag, they might think twice about which size to opt for. Josh Ryan has some suggestions in this week's Healthy Living.
Munching on popcorn while out at the cinema goes hand in hand for many moviegoers, but consuming it in large doses may not be wise for most, considering how much salt and butter lies inside.
Someone who might have high blood pressure, if you're going to the movie theater and eating a whole bag of popcorn, let's say 4 times a week, that's not going to be helpful.
Strip away the salt and oils, a small bag of movie theater popcorn contains 200 to 400 calories. Move up to a large, and that's the equivalent of 5 to 6 slices of bread.
People don't really think about it in that way because, you know, I find it has more impact when you put it in terms of slices of bread. And typically we wouldn't sit down and over the course of 2 hours eat like half to almost a full loaf of bread.
Along with buying and sharing smaller sized bags, Somerville recommends choosing water over pop to help control your consumption.
I won't be tempted to kind of go back and forth between my really sweet pop and my salty popcorn they kind of feed off of each other.
Having air-popped popcorn when watching movies at home instead of microwavable bags is another alternative.
You control the amount of oil that you're adding then, because after it's air-popped, you can drizzle on the butter or coconut oil.
And there are plenty of options to apply toppings more easily.
You can even get like those little spray bottles that you put coconut oil or oil in so that you can spray it on top of that air-popped popcorn that helps to distribute it more evenly and you're not getting big clumps.
Josh Ryan, Newcap News.
While producers get some shut-eye at night, one of our furry friends keeps a watchful eye on the farm. In this week's Agriculture Report, Gerard Lampow meets the nocturnal guardian.
She came to us from an alpaca farm in BC. Both of her parents are livestock guardian dogs.
This is Tallulah. She's 6 years old and she mostly rests during the day. But at night, her job is to guard the 50 or so alpacas on this farm.
Ours happens to be an Akbash Maremma cross. And one of the things about Akbash, which is a Turkish breed, is that they never guard against people. So my business partners, Trudy and Corey McCall, have 4 children. So when the kids were small, it was really important when their little friends were over playing with them that the dog didn't try to protect the children from the other children.
Lou is the 3rd livestock guardian dog on this farm. She patrols the territory at night looking out for predators like coyotes and bears. Merkley says you can't train these dogs to do what they need to do. Lou comes from working parents, but livestock dogs also have amazing instincts.
The very first puppy we ever had came into the alpaca pens when she was 8 weeks old, and the alpacas didn't know her, and they all got very nervous and alert and afraid, and that little puppy at 8 weeks old sat down and turned her head away and completely removed the threat.
Lou is very friendly and likes to be petted, but many livestock dogs are more inclined to be about their business.
It was about 8 o'clock in the evening, and the alpacas gave alarm call. And Lou was down here at Trudy and Corey's house, and she heard and came running up the hill as soon as she heard the alpacas give the alarm call. And that night, and she never found the bear, she never got in contact with the bear, but that night, all night, we could hear her barking and barking and barking.
It's birthing season and TNC Farms has about 8 baby alpacas on board. Let's hope Tallulah doesn't have a busy night ahead.
When I hear Lou barking in the night, I think, oh, good girl, and I go back to sleep.
Gerard Lampow, Newcap News.
This is Newcap Sports.
For a few lucky drivers in the CPCA, tomorrow begins their journey to Chuck Wagon glory at the Calgary Stampede. But before the greatest outdoor show on earth came one last tune-up at this past weekend's Onion Lake show. Lance Phillips has more.
After 3 nights of racing in Onion Lake, it was Todd Baptiste who came away with not only a show victory, but also a win in Sunday's coveted Dash for Cash. The Can-Do Saskatchewan native left Onion Lake with 2 wagons in the aggregate's top 3. Credit he gives in large part to his closest friends on the track.
You know, I don't know if we're doing anything that we haven't done before, but you know, it all comes down to the horses and how they're feeling and, you know, how they're going to be able to perform. And, you know, I have to be able to give all the credit to these animals that we were able to work with. And, you know, just nice to see them come together, especially going into Calgary here.
And when Baptiste thinks about Calgary, it conjures up thoughts of wins, considering his recent luck.
This is definitely a confidence booster for everybody, for me, for the team, for the crew, everybody involved, especially, you know, just coming off a weekend as we did here, and hopefully we have some luck and we're able to move forward and have some good runs in Calgary.
Placing second in the Dash for Cash and currently atop the leaderboard is Wayne Knight. The veteran driver is pleased with his success given his young team of horses in the mix this season.
We drive them lots in pairs at home and just every day pretty much, and not very long, just long enough that they get a little more education, and every day we use them they seem to keep getting a little better.
Day Money Sunday came from BJ Carey's outfit, but if not for 9 seconds in penalties, the 11th year driver would have had his first show win of the season.
You can only control what you have to control, and that's the 4 lines in my hand, and sometimes that's tough. So when when the guys in front of you or guy behind you can't get it done, and it makes it even tougher, and it's frustrating because I feel I have the horses that shouldn't be taking penalties. So it's not a good feeling.
Despite his feelings towards penalties, Carey's point wagon is starting to come into its own, consistently posting some of the fastest times on the track.
I mean, they're running, they're working now. Just got to sustain that and carry it into the second half.
Of course, for all these drivers, show and dash wins aren't possible without the names on the tarps of their wagons.
Oh, you can't say enough about them. I mean, without them having the sponsorship behind each and every year, it's just too tough to be able to go down the road. Shadwin Trucking, Soar Oilfield and Lloydminster, they've just been superb for me for the last 2 years I've been with them. And also Fire Creek Gaspar in Saskatoon.
Oh, the sponsors have been great. Like these guys are behind me there. They're behind me all the way. They've helped me in every aspect. And they're all here helping hook up and set up. So it's a good deal.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Onion Lake.